The Longest Day is based on Cornelius Rhine's best-selling 1959 book describing the Normandy invasions, which took place 70 years ago from today. It is a movie about the multiple battles that make up the biggest invasion force the world has ever seen on the terrible day that we know as D-Day. The movie in itself is actually quite accurate. It shows scenes from the beaches of Utah and Omaha to the battles of Pointe Hoc. The film illustrates how the war is not one man fighting for his goals, but a nation fighting as one. By showing how the war affects not only the lowest class of soldiers, but also the generals and the lieutenants, this movie displays the unity of the army fighting for one common goal. As I mentioned earlier, the film was historically accurate and the battles are depicted in great detail. A character in his division gets sent to Utah Beach but are sent too far south. This is actually historically correct, because the 4th Division at Utah arrives south of their target zone and advance rapidly with minimal casualties. However, the film also accurately depicts the characters and their determination at the Battle of Omaha. The Battle of Omaha was the worst of the Normandy invasions. It was the longest beach battle with the most casualties for both sides, and was the hardest to win for the Allied forces. The film showed that everyone in Omaha knew how important it was to win. The Germans would not give up their positions no matter how high the casualties, and the Allies, although they had many chances to get off the beach, refused to leave. This is shown from a quote in the movie. Quote, "Only two kinds of people are going to stay on this beach. Those that are already dead and those that are going to die. Now get off your butts, you guys are fighting 29. This quote that an Allied general said to his men is an example of the spirit at Omaha, that they were not going to give up, and that this was the same in the movie as it was in the actual battle. To the accuracy of the battles, throughout the entire movie, the Allied forces' use of deception was shown. Deception was the Allies' main tool in winning the Normandy invasions. In the beginning of the movie, a German general is pointing out the way the Allies are going to attack the Pas de Calais, and many of his associates agreeing with him. This objective of Operation Overlord was successful because the Germans thought that it was illogical for the Allies to invade Normandy, and that they were positive the Allies were going to invade at Pas de Calais. This scene is noted later on in the video. Pas de Calais was the shortest distance away from England, so the Germans were expecting an invasion there. The Germans also thought that since the weather was so bad at the present moment, the invasion was at no point going to happen during that time. What I most enjoyed about this movie was how the directors portrayed small personal events in addition to just the large and historically important ones. One of the best scenes in the movie is when you see a group of Allied soldiers walk by a wall, and on the other side of the wall, in clear view, is a group of Germans. They both obviously see each other, but make a mutual unspoken decision not to fight. They do this because they know if one of them fired their guns, it would turn into a bloodbath, and no one would survive. This scene displays the point of the film. During war, everyone has their own goals, and both the Germans and Allies want to win while surviving. While the legitimacy of this clip can never be proven, I really feel that it hits the underlying tone that, while in the large historical scheme of things, um, everything seemed to be militarily engineered and militarily designed, there were such events such as this that are never recorded in history, and that still have great importance, and they show that overall, the entire war machine doesn't consume personal morals. With all of that said, the movie did have several drawbacks, which I can mainly attribute to the time in which it was produced. This movie was filmed in 1962, and as such, certain aspects of the movie had to fit towards the social conventions of that time. Back in 1962, it was not appropriate to display graphic images of violence. Therefore, most of the battle scenes are, of course, you see people getting shot, but it's not with such great detail. And I feel that you really lose part of the actual feel of the battle by that. And in addition, the movie was produced during the Cold War, which many historians believe that this may be a potential bias, being that during the Cold War, many Americanized and many American ideals were definitely promoted. Therefore, many believe that the directors of this movie did promote American superiority throughout it in an almost overly flamboyant manner, which, in my opinion, I do see both sides of that. I feel like the movie was very fair in its descriptions and very fair in its analysis of certain situations, but I do feel that those bias definitely um, come through. But all in all, I would say that the movie was a great movie to watch, um, and I would strongly recommend any history buff see this video, as it is, even though it is from 1962 and older, it is a very great movie to see.
The next time the tides end, the moon will be right. Not before July.
Gentlemen, such a postponement is too bitter to contemplate.